So, welcome to Breaking Free Together, the podcast where we discuss and explore narcissism and its hold that it has over us and tools that we can use to break free from that hold. So last week we focused on how to stop prioritizing others over ourselves, didn't we? We talked about how we can put ourselves as our main focus, instead of people pleasing and other things that was an effect of having narcissistic abuse. So this week we're going to dive into probably one of the most emotionally charged questions, and that is, do you have to forgive to be able to move forward with your healing? So really, forgiveness is a personal choice, isn't it? Because it's we're reaching our own healing journey,
Yeah,
and what's going to be good for one person isn't necessarily going to be good for the next person. So for some, forgiveness can bring closure and can bring peace. For others, it's being able to let go of anger, being able to let go without having to extend forgiveness. Both are valid paths, aren't they? It's just whatever is good for you. There isn't one size fits all, and anyone that kind of tries to do this whole blanket thing or say this whole blanket thing, if you need to forgive to forgiving isn't good for you, etc., etc. Or not forgiving isn't good for you, etc., etc. It's not true. Everybody is different because everyone experiences it different. There are so many different ways that people are abused through someone who's a narcissist, and so many different personalities. So it's absolutely down to the person themselves, their own individual feelings.
exactly. I couldn't agree more. At the end of the day, it's everyone's choice. It's not what other people tell you is right or wrong. It's what feels and what resonates with you.
Yeah,
But when we think of forgiveness, what do we mean? What does forgiveness actually mean? Because I mean, even in therapy with my clients, I've had my clients say, I don't want to forgive them because then they think that they're going to get away with what they've done, which is
yeah,
not what forgiveness is about at all. And that's not how forgiveness works.
no,
Forgiveness is about you, it's not about the other person. So if you choose to forgive, you don't, it's not an excuse for their behavior. And you're not saying, well, it's okay what you did to me. I'm fine with it now. Let's just all forget about it,
yeah,
and then giving them a free pass. Nor is it about reconciliation and trust.
yeah,
You do not need, you can forgive someone and still not speak to them.
yeah,
You can forgive someone and still never see them again in your entire life. You can go, yeah, you know what, I forgive that person, but we're done. It's over.
yeah,
I don't need to pick up the phone and go, oh, by the way, I've forgiven you. We're all great friends now again. And
yeah.
certainly forgiveness does not mean that you have to then trust a person who has broken your trust time and time and time again,
Yeah.
because that's just self-sabotage to allow someone to carry on doing something to you that hurts so much. Why would you do that? So
Mm.
forgiveness is not any of those things. It's, again, not about the other person. You're not forgiving them to make them feel better.
No.
You're forgiving them to release yourself of this burden that's been sitting on your shoulders for weeks, months, years, decades, however long it's been sat there weighing you down. It's to free yourself from what they have done to you.
I think it's that just going along from what you're saying, it's those common misconceptions about forgiveness, isn't it? That you have that pressure, like we were saying before, from outside, and even to some degree, depending on the kind of therapist they are, from some therapists that can say that you need to
Yeah.
forgive. But like you said,
They
it's
shouldn't, though.
no,
That's
no, I
that's
know,
not a good therapist. If
no,
your therapist is telling you that you need to forgive to heal, that's, yeah, that's
yeah.
not a good therapist.
you know, that it's the only way that you can heal from what's happened to you, or that, well, you've heard people say, don't you? Well, if you don't forgive, it's like it's like drinking poison and expecting it to affect somebody else. It only damages you. So if you don't forgive, you're full of anger and it doesn't affect them, but it eats away at you. And all those little misconceptions about forgiveness. But it's like you were saying before, it's not about them. It's about you. And it's actually nothing to do with excusing their behavior or forgiving them so they can go on their merry way knowing they've been forgiven, even though they don't deserve it.
Mhm.
It's about what is best for you and what is your best path for you to move forward.
Yeah.
And so because of that, it's really important that we show that difference between forgiveness and excusing. So forgiving somebody is not excusing their behavior, is not excusing the abuse and the way that they treated you. It's not about that.
No,
And you are not giving them your power back by saying that you're forgiving them.
no
Um,
way.
because in a way, the whole forgiveness thing, it's not even a thing to them. It stops at you. Do you know what I mean? It stops at you. Um,
Yeah, I
so
mean, you can forgive someone and not tell them that you've forgiven
yeah,
them. You know, the
yeah,
forgiveness, you know, you can forgive them in your own sense of self and being and their own
yeah,
heart, your own heart, and
yeah,
they can be none the wiser. They don't need to know, even, you know,
yeah,
whatever you choose, whether you choose to or not to,
yeah,
that information doesn't need to be conveyed.
exactly, exactly. And again, it's down to forgiving and not forgiving. Then the whole separate section of what is forgiving to each person. So
Exactly.
my version of forgiving can be very different to your version of
Yeah.
forgiving. So just because we use the word, it doesn't necessarily, if this makes sense, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's got to be what's officially in the dictionary, if you know what I mean.
Yes. Yes.
It's a part of letting go.
Yeah.
So if you need to say you've forgiven to be able to let go and move forward, then that's okay, you know.
Yeah.
And if you don't and you say no, I'm just letting go, then that's okay too,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know. And
Well, that's
everybody's
it, isn't
different.
it? Because, you know, you're saying that there's the different perspectives on forgiveness,
Yeah,
and there is very different perspectives on forgiveness. I mean, when I think about my own experience, me and Dad have always had a very volatile relationship. You know that, you know, we love to hate each other. No, I'm joking. You know, there are times that I wanted to kill him. Can I say that on YouTube? I wanted to bleep him. And then there are other times I worship the ground he walked on, you
yeah,
know. But as time went on, as the more mature I got and the older I got, um, I saw him more for who he was. The bubble of that I had burst, and he was up there on a pedestal, and he'd fallen off the pedestal. And it wasn't just that I, you know, adored him as the way I used to when I was a child,
yeah,
because your child's view of him is a very different perspective than your adult view of him, because you're down here and he's up here. But as you go an adult, you're kind of on the same air level, aren't you? You know,
yeah, yeah,
physically as well as psychically. And when I went for my first serious therapy, I was going for something completely different. You know, I had another issue that I was going for. And yet the entire 26 weeks was spent ranting about dad. It was just like, just it was just da 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 da. I mean, at the end of this, the because the therapy was for something specifically different, and she was like, "Yeah, we haven't really kind of touched that." And I'm like, "No, we haven't. Maybe another time." Um, but even after that, I held on to this stuff. I mean, I held on to this stuff into my late 20s and into my early 30s, into my mid 30s, into my late 30s. It was only really when I began to do the deeper work. Obviously, I trained as a therapist and I got so much more understanding because the training is so, so very deep. And you do have to do like 50 hours of therapy yourself, you know, so that you don't screw your clients up entirely with your own shit. But it was that, and between that and going on a sort of a, and I say spiritual journey in a very my own sense of the word, not a religious journey, a spiritual journey of meditation and mindfulness and understanding about vibrations and all the things that you know, the roads you go down, and you layer that holding on to this stuff is only hurting you. That's what I took from it.
Yeah.
And so for me, I got to a point where I could let go of the anger that I had towards him. And I think you said this not long after the funeral and the way Dad was being with me at the time, and you were mind blown as to why I just didn't pop a gasket with the things
Yeah.
that he was saying to me. To be honest, and we've had this conversation, I can't remember half of the stuff. You
Yeah.
got really upset about what he was
Yeah.
saying. I can't remember half the stuff, but that's because I wouldn't, funny enough, you were talking about that little shield last week.
Yeah.
And it's like at the time in his presence, I had this little shield because not only did the stuff bounce off, I can't remember it. I can't
Yeah.
remember the stuff that he said because I didn't listen. I didn't pay him any attention. I wasn't letting him affect me or trigger me or any of those things. And yet, I haven't forgiven him.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, I don't need to forgive him. In my body, in my soul, in my sense of self, I'm at a place where I don't feel the need to forgive him because
Yeah.
I'm okay with where I am without going, oh, I forgive my dad. And that's totally everyone's choice.
Yeah.
That's not to say that me not forgiving him is better than me forgiving him,
Yeah.
but for my personal experience, that has what has worked for me. Again, highlighting the therapy, highlighting the idea that I've deserved so much more than I got,
Yeah.
and self consoling and self compassion and shedding that shame that we grew up with
Yeah.
and that humiliation that we grew up with, and putting the boundaries in place,
Yeah.
big, big time. Do you know, I don't feel my healing is any less valid because of that,
Yeah.
because I didn't forgive him. I haven't felt the need to do it. And that's what has resonated with me.
Yeah.
And I'm quite happy being in the place where I haven't.
Yeah. And in actual fact, I mean, because like we said, when I was there, I was getting angry with him for what he was saying, but you weren't at all. It was like water off a duck's back. So just proving the point that when people say you need to forgive or you're going to hold on to this anger and you're going to become bitter, etc., is a load of rubbish, really, because each person deals with it differently. And for you, you haven't forgiven him, and yet I watched you just not even react to the things that he was saying, to not let it affect you.
That's not to say, sorry for interrupting you.
That's okay.
That's not to say I don't get angry at him.
No, no, of
You
course.
know, when he gets on the phone and comes out with his latest whatever the hell it's coming out with,
Yeah,
and he gets under my skin, that is not to say that I don't get angry with him or he doesn't
no,
annoy me,
yeah,
but I don't keep hold of that. I
yes,
get it like "Rah," and it's gone.
yeah, at the time, which is natural because it's not something that's just in the past for us. It's not, it's a continuing relationship,
Yeah,
and he is not any better than he was when we were children. He's still the
worse.
same narcissistic, he is worse person, add old age onto that and the fact that he thinks he can say anything that he likes now.
Hmm.
Worse since mum died,
Yeah,
definitely.
absolutely.
So, so it's an ongoing relationship. So it's natural that you would get angry with the stuff that he was saying. But like you said, as long as you're not sitting in that and,
Yeah, wallowing,
wallowing. So
wallowing. It's a good word. Wallowing.
wallowing. Visions of a big hippopotamus now. Not that you look like a big hippopotamus, just wallowing in some mud. I think from my point of view, I think I was thinking of my relationship with mum when I was thinking about this. And I mean, she wasn't a narcissist, obviously, but
No.
she, there's lots of different words to describe it, but she, I suppose, was the absent parent or permissive in that she
Yeah.
allowed dad to act the way that he did.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was very close to mum. And then I wasn't. And then we've had discussions about kind of mum's part that she played in it. And I think I fought at first against the fact that she played any part in it. But then having my own children
Yeah.
and realizing that I would never allow the treatment of them that she allowed for us, you know, and you do start getting, angry with her. I did start getting angry with her and I did start dwelling over that and thinking, how could she have let that happen? How could she? And all of those things. Um, but I think for me, I mean, it's to do with the other person's personality as well, isn't it? Whether you forgive or not. But I think for me, I think I looked back over mum's past and her own childhood and the way dad was, and not excusing what she did, but understanding why she
Yeah.
acted the way she did.
Yeah.
Um, and once I was able to understand that, then I was able to forgive her.
Yeah.
So I have forgiven, and that has suited me and my journey in my relationship with mum. So it does work both ways, doesn't it? It does work
Yeah.
either way, depending on who you are and depending on who it is that you're forgiving or not forgiving, or there is
Yeah.
an argument for both of them. But again, it's all down to the individual person and what they want and what things look like for them.
That's why there's alternative paths to freedom. There isn't one rule fits all, like you said before. It's everybody's own decision.
Yeah.
So, I will start on my soapbox again for one of the ways of letting go without forgiveness. I don't care if I can convince people to go and get a bloody journal. I swear to God.
I'm sure you must be getting some kind of like skim off the top of all the journals that are
I must be, yeah. I've got thousands and millions of pounds coming in from dividends from every journal sold on Amazon. I need to write my own journal. I need to make a journal for all our wonderful listeners and figure out ourselves.
Yeah,
Yes, journaling. For me, journaling, again, I've said it before, scribbling, anger, emotion, stress, anxiety, pain, all of those really explosive, pervasive, heart crushing emotions. Get them down on paper. Just get them down on paper. And if you want to tear the paper out afterwards and chuck it in the bin or burn it, or, there was on our private group, I think it was Lou, who put up a thing about writing a letter
yeah,
to writing a letter to the person who had done you harm and then burning it, saying all the
yeah,
things, although there's a joke about that. It was like, my therapist told me to write a letter to the narcissist to the person who had hurt me and then throw it in the fire or throw them in the fire. Well, I've done that, but I've still got the letter.
yeah. If only.
Well, yeah, big fire. Oh, God forgive me. I believe I just said that. Okay. Again, I'll go on with my meditation visualization, doing the meditation. Again, I've said before, and I'll repeat myself because I think it's just important. So, I will continue saying it. Meditation has so many medical benefits. Lowers blood pressure, lowers heart rate, puts you in a relaxing state. The list, if you go on the NHS or any other, medical website of what it can help with inflammation, aches and pains, but it's unbelievable the things that
Yeah,
meditation can help you with. I would highly recommend it. And again, it doesn't have to be this whole sitting on a mountain, do you know, go
yeah,
onto YouTube and find a guided meditation. Find something that works for you. Not every meditation will work for everybody. Find one that works for you. Visualization is not meditation and it can be done completely different. You can do meditation and visualization, you can do them completely separately. And
yeah,
we'll do a wee visualization at the end here, just a very tiny one, small one, just to kind of get a picture in your head. But a visualization is literally just like a cinema. of what you want to happen in your mind. So if you can put yourself in a place where you feel safe, so whether that be in a room or in your car, in a beach, in a beautiful garden somewhere, and picture yourself letting go of your anger. Have your anger be represented by a thing, like
Yeah.
a balloon. So your anger is this big red, huge balloon, and you have hold of it, and you're standing there and you let it go, and the balloon goes bye bye, and feel that release. Just
Yeah.
feel it. Obviously, I'm a therapist. I'm going to say therapy works. It works. I mean, again, it's different for different people, and there are different standards of therapists. As you said before, you have therapists that aren't great. So, yeah, I mean, therapy worked for me. And I know it worked for my clients because
Yeah.
they've all told me that it's worked for them, and they were all very lovely, lovely, lovely clients. Really, really lovely clients.
Worked for me too.
Yeah,
So yeah.
you know, but at the end of the day, this is a deeply personal journey for
Yeah.
everybody. It's your own journey, and you have to go down the path, whether there's one or three or seven in front of you, that feels right for you. And whether you forgive or not, it doesn't matter. What
Yeah.
matters the most is that you feel free
Yeah.
and that you become whole, that whole person that you are supposed to be and deserve to be. And that's the goal of healing. The whole goal of healing is finding those pieces of yourself that have either been lost or that you didn't have in the first place,
Yeah.
and building yourself to be that whole wonderful, amazing person that you are. As we've said, there's no right or wrong answer. Forgive if you want to forgive. Don't forgive if you don't want to forgive. You can heal no matter which one you do.
Yeah. That's
It,
true. I think you're talking about the building yourself back up again, those pieces of you, and bring them back to you and to make yourself whole again. And I think that tied in with this idea of the forgiveness that you need to forgive to release this anger. But like you're saying about the self-visualization of releasing the anger, that doesn't need to come with forgiveness. That can just be if you've decided forgiveness isn't for you. It could just be the letting go
yeah,
and then replacing it because you find that you can replace one with another, can't you? So replacing that with self-compassion because it's something that I know a lot of survivors of narcissistic abuse don't have
yeah,
towards themselves is
yeah,
self-compassion. And so by letting that anger go and instead having that self-compassion for yourself and using that then as a healing tool, speaking to yourself kindly as we've said before on other occasions, would you talk to your friend like that? If your friend came to you with the same problems you had or feeling the way you have, you wouldn't speak to them the way that you speak to yourself, would
no,
you? You'd be kind,
no
you'd be
way.
compassionate to themselves,
Yeah,
to them, the
yeah,
way you should be for yourself. And then as you with your journal and your meditation, I am with the affirmations because I know I've used them and how much they've helped me is use that self-compassion in daily affirmations by saying things to yourself like, I deserve to be able to move on with my life with peace. I deserve this to have happiness. So you deserve all these things, and you're switching that attention to yourself. You're switching that attention because you're having that compassion towards yourself rather than anger towards the person that hurt you. Instead of then you focusing on them, you're now focusing on yourself. So it
yeah.
almost just takes them right out of the picture. So anger is good. Anger is not a bad emotion. It's a good
No,
emotion and
yeah,
it's a proper emotion responding to something bad or unjust that shouldn't have happened to you. So you should be angry.
yeah,
There's nothing wrong with that. And you should be
no,
angry with the person that hurt you. And it does its job. But when it's finished doing its job, then what you want is the next thing to move on to. And then
yeah,
what you want is for that person to be out of the picture and for
yeah,
you to be focused on you. Because that's it. You're not healing them,
no,
you're healing yourself. It's trying to build on that and move forward to a life beyond kind of what has happened to you. I mean, it'll always be a part of you, you
Absolutely.
know, because it makes us our personalities different because of what happened to us. But it doesn't have to be your every waking thought, does it?
No.
You know, that's what we want to be able to move forward from. We
Yeah.
want to be able to heal and take charge of our own lives and have control of our own lives. So by having that self-compassion, because we want ourselves to be happy, because we know we deserve happiness, then we can get involved in activities that bring us joy, spending time with our friends, or if we have family that isn't part of that whole narcissistic thing, spending time with people that are good for you, basically, your
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Surround yourself with those people because you deserve to be surrounded by people that are compassionate to you and who love you. You deserve to be loved. You know, all of us
Yeah.
do lie that you were told by whoever it was that you're not a lovable person, that you're just there to serve them. That is a lie. You
It
are a
is.
lovable
Of
person.
course it is.
You know,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
absolutely are. And there's that saying, isn't there, the best revenge is a life well lived.
Yes. Yes.
And
Where they no
so,
longer have that power over you, and they can see that they no longer have that power over you because you have stepped into your true self.
yeah, yeah, that's it. That's it. And you're not doing it for revenge, really. You're doing
No.
it, no, but you're doing it to have a fulfilling life and for them not to have that hold on you, because long past whatever they have done to hurt you, they still have that hold on you. If you and so we want to be able to get them to release that
Yeah.
or we need to get them to they're not actually hold of us to get them to release that so that we can move forward with a life where we're enjoying it so much, we're getting so much joy, we're getting so much love, we're getting so much happiness that heals us, that we
Yeah.
become this whole person again, like you said, with all the kind of pieces that you've added back to yourself through your own hard work and healing.
Yeah. I saw a good meme on Facebook. It was a long, long time ago. I've seen it a few times, and it's a very simple, like hand-drawn thing, and it's two hands holding onto a rope. Have you seen that one?
No, I don't think I have.
All right, so it's just all that's all it is. It's just a piece of rope, and it's like the first one is the pulling, the two of them obviously pulling, and
Yeah.
the second one is one of the hands like releasing, and you
Right.
see all the rope burn,
Ah,
and then the bottom it says sometimes letting go is the least painful thing
option.
to do.
Yeah.
And I thought it's a good analogy,
Mm.
in many, many areas, but I thought it's a good analogy to go with what we're talking about, just letting go of.
Yeah.
And I know it's easier said than done, and I know this one video is not going to cure everybody, which is why we do them every week, because we're trying to bring tips and tricks to people to be able to just take one step at a time.
Yeah.
Just move one step at a time. And if there are any nuggets of information in these videos that help you, then that's why we're here. Leading on, then, I wanted to do a little mindful exercise.
Yeah.
So, this is a mindful exercise, a visualization. I want you to be as relaxed as you can. If you're driving a car, please don't do this. If you're near any heavy machinery, don't do this. Don't laugh. This is serious, Cassie. She's laughing. This is serious. Just be careful. You can do visualization, but it's better with your eyes closed. So clearly, if you're driving a car, don't do it. Um, but also if you're going to go into a relaxed state, don't be in any situation where you're in control of something that can be dangerous. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to take a deep breath in and release. Now imagine all the hurt you have suffered. You have been carrying it around like it's a huge, heavy backpack weighing you down at each step through your journey. Now, in your visualization, if you're walking, I want you to come to a steady stop. And I want you just to shrug those straps off your shoulders and let that backpack slide down your arms and off your back. And just place it down on the floor beside you. Now take another big deep breath in. Hold. Release. Feel the freedom around your shoulders, around your neck, and around your back. And wherever you are in your imagination, I want you to start walking away. Leave the backpack there. It doesn't need to come with you anymore. Leave it there and take more and more steps farther and farther away. And with each step, feel yourself feeling lighter and freer. Your steps are easier. The stress is gone. The weight is gone. You're now free of all that pain. Now, let's take a big deep breath in again. And out. And when you're ready, open your eyes. How did that feel? That's a visualization technique you can do at any time to help you decompress and to rid yourself of this heavy burden that we've all been carrying for the length of time we've been carrying it. I hope it was helpful. Please do come back and use it anytime you need to, or think of your own visualization. Whatever works for you. You can certainly come up with something else, and letting a balloon release, anything that you can picture. So the backpack was obviously the stresses and the worries. A balloon can be the same. Anything that you can leave behind, let go. You could be in an airport and leave your baggage trolley and push it over there and walk away and get on the plane without any of your baggage. I like that one. I like
Yeah.
doing that one. Well, we're going to bring this to a close now, and thank you for being with us today. We'd love for you to think about what we talked about today, reflect on whether you want to forgive or not forgive, reflect on what that feels like for you, whether it's something you want to do or don't want to do, but more importantly, remember that it's your choice
Yeah.
and your choice is valid. Um, and if you want to share any of your experiences of forgiving or not forgiving and how that's worked out, let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear them.
Yeah.
We really would, because your experiences encourage us, as our experiences hopefully encourage you. You know, have you forgiven someone who has hurt you? Or did you choose a different path? We'd love to hear what you did and how it worked out, and hopefully that it's helped you. But again, whatever you decide, your healing is yours to define. So we're going to say bye for now, and we'll see you next time.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.